This channel is almost 5 years old. Shit, I really have been doing this for that long? I didn't even want to do this for this long. I thought it would just be a fun hobby for like a year. The fact that people like genuinely watch this stuff is like crazy to me. Never in my life have I felt like people cared about what I had to say in general. Now here I am with 1,000 subscribers. I just don't know what to say, what to feel, how to express this. What do I do, doctor?
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. Do you want your 5 orders of 50 chicken nuggets or not?
Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt, an anime released in 2010 by Gainax that was popularized due to its crude humor and wild nature. A show that I have built this channel on, yet have never actually reviewed the show itself. Typically, I would avoid this kind of content because I'm not a reviewer and I definitely don't really know how to review TV shows. But I feel like after 5 years, yes, 5 years of this channel, I finally am gonna review every single episode of the original Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt. All 28 episodes of the show. Thank you all for 1,000 subscribers now, as I'm recording this like 1.1 thousand. Thank you all for the support, and let's get started.
Excretion without honor and humanity.
The first episode of Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt is so fucking weird. Usually I would start with a plot synopsis, but I need to talk about how this show easily starts by assaulting your senses to easily draw in the audience they were clearly trying to attract and scare off anyone who just isn't a fan. In this episode, we get introduced to our main characters and the overall plot of the show. Panty and Stocking are angels that got kicked out of heaven for being too crass, and so to get back, they must protect Daten City from ghosts, typically vengeful spirits that reward the girls with heaven coins when killed. Collect enough and they can get back into heaven. I'm sure you all knew that by now, but hey, I gotta be professional. In this episode, Panty and Stocking are sent out to kill a ghost that's eating people via their toilets. Said ghost intent on covering Daten City in shit. So of course, after slacking off for a bit and getting covered in shit, Panty and Stocking defeat the ghost and the episode ends. Whilst Excretion without honor and humanity is nowhere near my favorite episode, especially since I'm not a huge fan of potty humor, I'm not 10 anymore, but the first episode does a good job overall introducing us and, in my opinion, endearing us to these characters. I like Panty, I like Stocking, I like Garterbelt, and even you, Chuck, especially when it comes to Panty and Stocking interacting. I do overall think of them as a duo, and how they interact with each other is what holds the series up as a whole. Sure, it's mainly an exposition episode, so we don't get much of that, and what we do get from this episode I think is pretty damn good. One thing Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt does falter in though is humor. Oh god, this might get me killed. This is a comedy anime after all, and the show heavily relies on shock humor. Meaning on pretty much any rewatch the shock goes away and the laugh goes away. Most jokes are just, whoa, I can't believe she said that, or they're doing this, or she's doing that. It's just kinda like, after the first rewatch, I have really become numb to the jokes in Panty and Stocking. Overall though, not a bad first episode.
Death Race 2010.
If Excretion without honor and humanity drew you in long enough to stick around for the next segment, then Death Race 2010s intends to keep you here. It follows Panty and Stocking having to take down a ghost that can possess vehicles, a basic premise that seems typical, but this episode is a giant action episode, showcasing some of the best animation in the show, alongside with interactions between Panty and Stocking. Even Crazy Gabby's excessive lewdness is one of the few things in this show to still get a laugh out of me, even after all of these rewatches. Great episode.
The Turmoil of the Beehive. One more time with feeling.
In this episode, Panty and Stocking go undercover as high school students to investigate a ghost, in which they run into Barbie, the school queen who they easily overtake in popularity, becoming the school queens, in which after a montage they find out Barbie is a ghost with the help of a new character, Brief, after which they defeat her. Pretty solid episode if I say. Whilst the montage taking up a lot of the episode is kind of annoying, it's neat to see Panty and Stocking completely shaking up the school and Barbie losing her shit. And also I really like Brief, he's a really good character. basically pairing 90% of the people that watch the show if they ever encounter a woman like Panty. Simps and cucks. That's not me though. Your girl has riz. Good episode.
Sex and the Daten City.
In this episode, Panty and Stocking have a movie set to release. But during the premiere, Panty, accidentally shows her sex tape to the audience. After realizing this could damage her career as an actress, Panty and Stocking set out to find all copies of the tape and destroy all but one, keeping one for memory's sake. But after Panty reveals that she cut every single scene Stocking was in, Stocking uploads the porno into the internet to get revenge. Well, at least Brief wins. Overall, I do enjoy this episode. It's fun to see the girls travel the world to grab the tape, and the ending in general kinda sells it for me. I especially love how the episode displays how Panty and Stocking both handled fame. Panty letting it all pretty much go to her head while Stocking does one corny commercial and moves on. Good episode.
Catfight Club.
In this episode, after finding out that Panty ate her special pudding with a 500-year wait list, her and Stocking get into a heated argument, in which, after finding out there is a ghost, Stocking decides to head off on her own to tackle it. But after getting tricked, Panty comes to the rescue after some convincing from Brief, in which they argue until they get their asses handed to them, calling a truce to beat the ghost. After which, Panty and Stocking ride off into the sunset and reconcile their differences. And Garter seemingly does horrible things to Brief. Overall, I do love this episode. This is arguably the most sibling-like the sisters have been, and it's great. I love seeing them get at each other's throats, yet still coming through for each other in the end. I really mean it when I say Panty and Stocking make this show. This is basically all the proof I need to prove that. Amazing episode.
Pulp Addiction.
This episode starts with an army of sperm trying to claim a base, but they got wiped up by tissues, so the ghost of the sperms, called Calipers, decides to raid a tissue factory, causing a shortage of tissues the sisters now have to investigate. It's a shortish episode in my opinion, and doesn't really do much I care about. I'm not that interested in the sperm ghost, and a lot of the runtime is more or less designated to their scenes. Sure, the girls in Garterbelt have more screen time, even Garterbelt getting a funny spiel about people gotta masturbate to live, it even causing him to have a crazy orgasm from his afro, and it's fun when Panty and Stocking and Garterbelt are on scene, but it ends so quickly and abruptly that I really just don't care about the episode. Where's the Calipers sequel episode about condoms? Maybe that'll be good.
The Diet Syndrome.
This episode sees Stocking gaining weight from doing her favorite thing, eating sweets. So eventually she decides to go on a diet and exercise over and over, but after that very clearly doesn't work, she loses control, causing her to turn into a giant ball of fat. Literally. The sisters find out there's a ghost baking sweets filled with microbe ghosts that cause people to gain excessive amounts of weight, in which they defeat the ghost, causing Stocking to return back to normal and being able to be a fat ass without actually being a fat ass. This is a fun episode. It's nice to see Stocking's favorite thing turn back on her and become a conflict. It's funny the lengths she goes to get the weight off, and when it doesn't work out, seeing her go nuts is just as funny. Really good episode.
High School Nudical.
Whilst tuning their heavenly weapons, Panty is very clearly bored and doesn't want to be at home. After which they see an ad for the Daten City High School lingerie run, in which all the students run through the streets in their underwear. During the race though, a ghost appears, eating Panty and Stocking's panties and stockings. So now Panty has to find the guy's underwear they can use to kill the ghost, the guns working basically as a metaphor for their dick sizes. Brief getting his underwear snatched by Panty and it being the perfect size to kill the ghost. This is a fine episode. It doesn't really do anything to stand out, but it also doesn't do anything bad. I like the ghost here, he's pretty cool and neat, I like him as a character. But other than that, it's just a pretty normal episode of Panty and Stocking. I really don't have much to say on this one, it's just alright.
Raiders of the Nasal Dark.
Well, I guess we needed a bad episode eventually. In this episode, Panty and Stocking follow the fad of picking their noses, this being the cause of a ghost who wants to get a bunch of people on a blimp to get nose beads so they can crash into the moon. This episode is just really bad in my opinion. Overall, it does follow the typical setup. There's a ghost, we gotta kill it, with the gimmick being that it doesn't reveal himself until him and Panty finger each other in the nose. This is just kind of a boring episode that goes by really quick, and Oscar as a ghost also just really turns me off. There's something about him as a character that really irks me. I don't know what though. I genuinely don't think the concept of picking your nose was something to make an entire episode around. Even the animation can be quite nice.
Vomiting point.
This episode doesn't follow Panty and Stocking. Wow. This episode follows Taro, a struggling office worker on City's neighboring town called Little Tokyo. In this episode, it's his daughter's birthday, in which he wants to be able to get her a gift and attend her party. But after screwing up a gift for his coworker, him and the rest of his office decide to go out for drinks, in which Taro's abusive boss forces him to drink a tower of liquor, in which he vomits a ghost. Of course, Panty and Stocking come to kill the ghost, and Taro is able to get their signatures as a gift for his daughter. When I first watched this episode, I initially wasn't a fan of it. It's a huge departure from the rest of the show, and it just felt weird. But as a person who's come to respect that this show can be whatever it wants that day of the week, and this is a really good episode. I love seeing Taro, all he does is to get a gift for his daughter. It's really sweet, and I really enjoy it. It shows a side of his two sisters that we wouldn't even see. They never had to give Taro that signature. I really enjoy Vomiting Point. Really good episode.
Les Diaboliques. It's lay Panty. Oh, okay. Les Diaboliques.
In this episode, we follow Panty and Stocking trying to deal with another ghost problem at the school. Them spending all night killing ghosts to find out that the mayor's daughters, Scanty and Nisox, have arrived at school, taking Panty and Stocking's places as school queens and completely outclassing them. After which Panty and Stocking learn that Scanty and Nisox are demons and are behind the endless ghosts, then holding a ghost factory under the school using some sort of stone. So now it's up to the Angel Sisters to destroy the stone and stop the ghost factory. This episode is quite iconic for a reason. Not only is it the introduction of some of the most iconic characters in the series, Scanty and Nisox, leaving a huge impression off in this episode alone, with Scanty being hot-headed and Nisox attempting to be cool and collected. Them one-upping the sisters in every way possible despite being, demons, really plays into them being fan favorites. But also, this episode is arguably the best looking in the entire show. The latter half of episodes is a giant action piece, and it's just so gorgeous to look at. I don't exactly know how to say what I like more in detail, but it just looks so good. Look at this shit, you can see why it's beloved. Les Diaboliques so far is the best episode of the show, and it ain't even close.
We know not where they come from, only that they both are searching for the same force. For a time, they lived in harmony, but like all great power, some wanted it for good, others for evil, and so began the war.
This episode follows Panty and Stocking arguing over something, during which two asteroids crash into the church, with two robots coming out of the asteroids to finalize a battle that is years in the making. But before they get their hearts eaten by these sisters, with them turning into legally distinct robots and continuing their feud as said robots. This is a fine episode. I'm personally not the biggest Transformers fan around, so a lot of the parody falls a little flat for me, but at the same time, I respect the lengths they go to accurately spoof those older Transformers cartoons. It's cute, but nothing more if you ask me. Fine episode.
The stripping.
Panty and Stocking are kind of freeloaders. Between them buying a bunch of shit like toys and food, along with the ungodly amount of damages they caused in the church in the last episode, Garterbelt explains that their expenses have surpassed $3 million. And so, to keep their carefree lifestyles, the girls make a deal with Garterbelt that if they can raise $3 million by the end of the day, they can keep buying all the junk they want. If not, they have to cease their unnecessary purchases. I really like this episode. I love seeing the girls are so horrendously incompetent or raunchy that they can't perform any of the jobs they get, and them betting it all on the casino win after already getting the money and still going like absolute dumbasses is really fucking funny. Pretty solid episode.
Of the dead.
After believing that they're going to a simple pizza party, Panty and Stocking find themselves dealing with a ghost zombie invasion caused by Scanty and Nisox, in which their heavenly weapons have no effect on the ghost at all. Overall, it's an alright episode. I don't think it's really bad, and the concept of Panty and Stocking in a zombie apocalypse is really cool, but I just wish they got to do more with it. After they get bitten, the episode doesn't really go anywhere, it just kinda ends. A pretty meh episode.
One angry ghost.
It should be called Trial by fucking Game Show.
I like 1 million angry men.
In this episode, Panty and Stocking are put on trial after killing a friendly ghost, ending up on a courthouse game show that they now have to prove their innocence, with this secretly being a ruse by Scanty and Nisox to have the sisters executed. It's a really fun parody of those stupid game shows you see on TV. Mr. Abrahams, of course, is the real highlight of the episode, Ace Attorney reference and all. Really good episode. I don't have much to say, as you're gonna notice. Like, I'm gonna get really short with some of these, but I just really like this episode.
If the angels wore swimsuits.
If the Angel wore swimsuits is a very weird episode. You see, typically this would be just a pretty normal episode of Panty and Stocking. The sisters are trying to enjoy their beach day until the demon sisters show up and force them off the beach, declaring it as private property. So to fight for their right to stay, Panty and Stocking challenge the demon sisters to a match of volleyball. Standard enough episode, and really it isn't bad, it's just kinda basic. What really brings this episode down though is the animation style. A lot of the appeal with Panty and Stocking is its animation. As you can see, this stuff is gorgeous, but this episode is unfortunately entirely done in Flash, making a lot of scenes just look so stiff and choppy. It's not a bad episode, but it is really dragged down by the animation.
Ghost. The Phantom of Daten City.
After trying to find new men for Panty to sleep with and Stocking dismissing her taste, Stocking runs across a ghost who is extremely potent and gross called Patrick, and she falls in love with him. Panty feeling as if she has to put a stop to this before Stocking runs away with Patrick forever. This is a really good episode. We get to see a side of Stocking we never normally see. She's always typically sarcastic, rude, and overall a bitch, but in this episode she's just so nice and kind, and it's overall really sweet, and it's so cute to see. This episode has a pretty good message overall too about love knowing no bounds. I found that cute, but the problem with this episode is Patrick. Patrick is gross and nasty, that I could get past, but him also being a massive dick to Stocking and just kind of unlikable in general, especially when they try to phrase it as him being a poor job of showing it, it really doesn't show me a single hint of him feeling anything for Stocking until Panty has a gun pointed at his head. I wish this episode had more time so we could see that, because he really brings the episode down just a little. But overall, I still love this episode for showing me a side of a character I didn't even know existed. Great episode.
Inner Brief.
This episode fucking sucks. In this episode, Panty and Stocking are tiny, so after Brief messes around with the girls a little too much, they end up getting fed up and entering Brief's body. And so, in order to get them out before they turn back to normal size, Garterbelt must help remove them. Yes, this episode is just gross. They do nothing with the girls actually being inside Brief, and the rest of the episode is dedicated to Garterbelt using disgusting methods to remove the girls. Yeah, this is the worst episode of the show, no doubt about it. I don't really have to say too much more. If you've seen the episode, it's really bad. I'm really not a fan of the priest pedophile angle they try to make with Garterbelt, and I understand it's a parody, but like, we're also supposed to somewhat like Garterbelt, so like, it doesn't really help that this is his character. You know, people can get past Panty being a slut, Stocking being a fat ass, and Brief being a bit of a cuck, but nobody can really get past, you know, a pedophile.
Jump to the future.
All of these episodes are essentially the same, so I'm just gonna group them into this one segment. Chuck ends up in some horrendous predicament, like fighting Fazner, needing to take a piss after being paralyzed, then breaking a wall because of a fly infestation, and Chuck realizing there's a demon in his head he really wants to get rid of. These are all fine-ish episodes. I just don't think Chuck abuse can really carry an episode. He's fun and these segments are relatively short, so it's not that egregious, but the fact that there's 3 of them in this one episode, just not a great set. Does this one really count? Really isn't even an episode, it's just a music video for the song D City Rock by Teddy Lloyd featuring D Brazier. It's a nice video though. I appreciate a lot of the references to other music icons like Elvis, Gorillaz, the Beatles, etc. And it's just nice looking. Not an episode, there's no plot, no character interactions, no dialogue, but it's just a really good song and some really nice visuals.
Once upon a time in Garterbelt. Ew, who would want to be in Garterbelt?
In this episode, after getting tired of his complaining, Panty and Stocking enter Garterbelt's secret lair to get some dirt on him to essentially blackmail him, coming across a book detailing Gar's history and how he got here, showing that Garterbelt was a drug lord a la Scarface who died, who now, after running from it, accepted a mission from God to raise Panty and Stocking. It's a good episode. I really like the Scarface parody here, and Garterbelt being a drug king is kinda badass. And of course, the montage of him running from his mission is fun too. I love seeing all the events he has to live through. Great episode.
Nothing to room. I like this music. It's fun.
Finally, peak. In this episode, Panty and Stocking are bored and starving, waiting for Garterbelt to finish making a massive dinner. I love this episode for one simple reason. Seeing Panty and Stocking conversate. They just feel so real. The girls as characters feel like they have such a close connection, whether they argue, agree, or order a shitload of food. And I love it. There's no flashy action, no crazy deep lore and story. It's just the girls hanging out from this one camera angle. Spoiler alert, I think this is the best episode in the entire show. Something about this episode just really gets me, and I love it so much.
D.C Confidential.
Again, I don't know if I should necessarily have this count. This is more or less just a clip show. Scanty and Nison's reporting the failures of the Ghost and themselves to the mayor of Daten City, along with an extra scene of grossness. Overall, this episode is whatever. It's just a clip show and foreshadowing for the next segment.
Panty and Brief.
In this episode, Panty and Stocking have finally connected enough heaven coins to return back to heaven. But due to Panty's higher priority of having sex with 1,000 men, Panty ends up having to repeat the task due to Judgment not being pleased with Panty being such a bitch. This is a really good episode. Panty really being at her lowest and finally connecting with Brief is really beautiful to see. Us even getting to see more how Brief and Panty have gone through a lot of the same stuff, both being expected to be something they're not. It's beautiful to finally see them connect, but this episode ends on a cliffhanger. Panty's been re-virginized with her hymen being restored, and Panty turning Brief on caused the Hell's Gate key, his penis, to be activated, and Panty has lost her powers. Till the next episode. After the events of the last episode, Panty now moves on to live a normal life with her supposed grandma, until a mountain gang shows up and kills her grandma. And after an inspirational speech, this inspires Panty to go off and save Brief, have sex, and get her powers back. Overall, this is a solid episode. The episode explains Panty's character perfectly, that she can be whoever and whatever she wants to be, no matter what anyone says. That's Panty Anarchy. Great episode. And with Stocking returning to help her sister save Daten City, we move on to So after falling from the sky, Brief ends up accidentally unlocking Hell's Gate key anyway, causing a massive ghost to spawn. So now Panty and Stocking must find a way to destroy it before Daten City gets destroyed. Overall, this is a pretty good episode and a really great way to end the show. It's an action fest and one of the coolest in the show. The angels and demon sisters fighting, Garterbelt and Corset fighting, Chuck turns into a giant hellhound and defeats Fastener, who's a two-headed dragon now. Judgment come down to stomp the ghost out. It's such an insane and epic episode, and overall, a great conclusion to the show. Until this. Alright, now it's time to rank every episode and wrap this video up. D.C Confidential. It's not really a bad episode, just kinda lazy. If you've been watching the show, you don't really need a refresher, and the incest really brings this episode down. In a Brief is just bad. Nothing important, nothing fun, nothing in this happens. It's just a gross episode. Chuck to the Future 1 through 3. These are episodes. Not bad, but I don't think an episode following just Chuck being abused every which way is gonna make for a good episode. Raiders of the Nasal Dark. Just a nothing episode. Not bad, but not really great. It's just straight up an episode I forget. Pulp Addiction. Same deal as Raiders of the Nasal Dark. A very basic and overall nothing episode. Transhomers. This is also kind of a nothing episode for me. I respect how far they went with the parody, and it's really, really accurate, but I'm not a Transformers fan, so this episode doesn't do much for me. Help, We Are Angels. This one's also not really an episode, so it really shouldn't count, but also, the music video here is still really fun to watch regardless. High School Nudical. I think this episode is solid. Overall, it's just a meh-ish episode, like it's not special, but it's also fine enough. Excretion without honoring humanity. A good intro episode. I don't really think it's perfect though, and the first episode focusing on shit is kinda gross, but overall it's a solid episode of Panty and Stocking. If the Angels Wore Swimsuits. Another overall solid episode. I do like the idea of a volleyball episode and find it more unique than just being another Stop the Ghost episode, but the animation really hinders it. Of the Dead. This is an episode I wish just had more to it. The idea of the girls in a zombie apocalypse is so cool, but it just goes nowhere at all. The Diet Syndrome. I love this episode a lot. It's fun to see Stocking freak out and have the things she loves most turn on her in the dumbest way possible. Distributing. Another good episode. Love the girls being so fucking dumb that they can barely just get their $3 million because of a goddamn sneeze. Catfight Club. This is a top tier episode right here. I love seeing the girls argue and still have each other's back. It's amazing. Sex and the Daten City. Another great episode. Seeing the girls travel the world and tackle being a movie stars is really, really fun. Turmoil of the Beehive. Very close to Sex in the Daten City, but to be honest, the introduction of Brief and Barbie as a ghost really steal this episode in my opinion. Death Race 2010. Overall, great episode. The action is amazing here, and even the light interactions between Panty and Stocking or the excessive gross phrases from Gabby are enough to get me to really love this episode. One Angry Ghost. I love the parody of game shows here. This one isn't particularly amazing or do anything crazy, but I do genuinely love how accurate the parody is, and it's just a fun episode. Vomiting Point. I really like this episode for being a little different. It's just really, really cute. I love seeing this dude trying to get a gift for his daughter and make it to her party, despite all the hell he goes through trying to. And it's nice to see him get something even as small as a signature. Bitch Girls and Bitch Girls 2 Bitch. These are both great finales. I can't really rank them separately since they are really meant to just be one episode, so I genuinely feel like the ante is up in this final episode, and I love the fact that Panty comes to terms with herself and has a role as an angel. It's a great episode. Panty and Brief. This episode is just really sweet to me. I do enjoy seeing Panty and Brief learning to relate each other and even slightly falling in love with each other. It's genuinely really, really cute. Once upon a time in Garterbelt. I loved seeing Garter's history in this episode. I really do only wish we got to see more in general because what we do see is so fucking cool. Ghost the Phantom of Daten City. This episode's just cute. Again, it's really nice to see Stocking being so caring and kind, even if Patrick does feel like the resolution is a tad forced. I love it regardless though, and the message is something really, really good. Les Diaboliques. Basically, one of the best episodes in the show. The action in this one is still unmatched if you ask me, and the introduction of the Demon Sisters showing them in their full fury makes it even better. Nothing to room. I love this episode so much. I know for most it's probably bland and boring since nothing happens really, but I just love Panty and Stocking as characters. Them talking in general and having a normal ass conversation for the most part is more than enough for me, as weird as that may sound. So, I finally have reviewed all of Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt, the original show. And I thank you so much for watching, and I thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. This was supposed to be a 1,000 subscriber special, but I've been at 1,000 since like July, and it's been, I'm very, very late. But I do thank you all so much. I really do thank you all for letting me have this platform where I can talk about Panty and Stocking. Like, I know I've probably said this before, but you know, it means a lot to me. To this day, I've never really believed that I can just talk about the things I love without people being judgmental or people just thinking it's stupid or not really even wanting to hear me talk. But here I am sitting on a YouTube channel that I didn't intend to get this far. Something I was just going to do as a one and done thing, but then it blew up. And then I thought, okay, I'll do it for the year. And then here I am in 2025, still making Panty and Stocking videos, all because of you all and your support. Thank you all so much. I love you all. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed. Stay safe. Have a great day. Bye bye.